because they're huge fans of you. So, got to do that as a formality. Good to meet you.
Good to with the emotion in your voice at the press conference. Your speech went viral. I know almost everybody saw that speech, but here's a quick look at that.
I'm mad as hell. I woke up wanting to see the world burn down yesterday because I'm tired of seeing black men die.
So since that time, you've seen obviously protests.
That's what your friends did as you're
watching.
watching.
Your speech with the prophetic words. Now is the time to plot the plan, to strategize, to organize, and mobilize. How do you respond to what Shaka was just saying about resisting, and how do you see us using this moment to fulfill the collective dream?
First, I want to qualify. I was born to teenage parents. My mother was 16, my father was 19. My biological father went on for a short time to be an Atlanta City police officer. And I grew up in an all-black city where I've seen cops that look like me my entire life. And my grandparents helped me understand from a very early age that as well as racism, what I was dealing with was the state versus human beings. I live in an environment where the police look like me. So I understand it's to be beyond color and race, and you can kill me because I'm black. You're killing me on the behalf of the state. And the state is so duplicitous and evil that it would now attach policing or killing or hurting of a police even in resistance or trying to save your own life. So that is how deep the hatred for a free black man and woman are in this country. And I need people to understand that many of the times the people that you saw hung from trees were not simple victims meandering through the woods at night. They were the people there in the community to speak up, to speak out against, and to stand in solidarity with people who wanted freedom for all. And that's why they were hung. So what we're seeing and what we saw in that evil policeman's act was the state enforcing its will on the proletariat. And for the first time in my life, I'm seeing the proletariat resist and resist violently. And by any means necessary, and every means necessary, you should be willing to protect your life and the life of those you love.
What do you say to the police officers, cousins, family members in your own family, Michael?
We talk, and it's a heavy burden. I know police officers that are related to me and that are not, but that are black. It's a heavy burden to have to work on the behalf of the state and to be hated by those people. I would like to challenge local municipalities to better vet people out. If you're a white guy who just got out of the army in South Georgia, you've never been around African Americans or descendants of slaves in your life, maybe you shouldn't get dropped off in Zone 3 in the middle of the night without a black partner. Maybe you shouldn't be in an environment you aren't accustomed to without knowing those. We shouldn't have police in cars by themselves. We shouldn't have people that don't look like the people in their community be policing those communities by themselves. And we should have longer training. Our policemen should be college educated. It should take longer than 18 months to be a policeman. But I am in particular talking to and for Atlanta and the surrounding areas when I'm speaking. I could never imagine living in Miami. I could never imagine living in New York or Los Angeles because I've never been a minority in my life. I've always been in the majority. All my heroes and villains have always been black. So I tend to see these things as people versus the state versus just race. But racism is used as a form of classism in this country. So I must deal with that as an issue as well.
Speak the truth. Ryan Tillman is a police officer in Chino, California.
So country, man.
Oh, they cut you racially profiled.
Speak the truth, bad boy.
Being a police officer was going to be your calling.
Oh, it wasn't just limited to me. That happened to family members. Racial. And so I'm in a unique position because I see both sides of it. I was talking to my whole department the other day, which is predominantly white, and I was telling them, like, none of you guys have ever dated a girl who couldn't tell her family that, about you because you're black. None of you guys have never dated a girl who said, her dad said, you better not bring home any nigger babies. Like, I've been a part of that. My mentality is, Tyler said something, I was watching your video, and he said something that was so profound to me, which is, biblical, which is, weeping may come at night, but joy comes in the morning. And I choose to live a life of the joy in the morning time. So when people get afraid of police reform, if officers get afraid of police reform, I'm like, man, no, this is an opportunity to change it, to change its foundation, to change its roots. But I got to be the person to lead for the front. And you're absolutely right, Mike, and everything you guys are saying as far as we need more training. We need more, different things like that.
Even the officers was agreeing that we do need more training.
we're living in a crazy society, but I see the hope in it all. I see that, you know what, sometimes a building has to be burned down in order for us to rebuild it better than what it was. And so, you know, I just choose to try to be the best person I can as a black man in America, but also a police officer in America.
I heard you chose to take a knee with the protesters, and when you did that, what did your predominantly white police department or fellow officers think or say?
You know, people were kind of taking it back, and at first, honestly, I'm not going to lie, like, at first, you know, I wasn't going to take a knee, but again, going back to my spiritual side of things, like, I had a conversation with God, and it was like, you know, God, you know, these are two things he asked me the question about. It was like, Ryan, when you got down on your knee to ask your wife to marry her, what'd you do? I was like, I got down on the knee. He was like, when you get out at night before you go to bed, what do you do for me? And he was like, you get on a knee to pray to me, right? I was like, yeah. And he's like, why do you do those things? It's like, because you are called to serve your wife.
That man say brother ain't got no mustache.
So,
Dallas Penn ain't shit. Look at what Dallas said. Dallas said brother ain't got no mustache.
And my job is to serve the community.
You're a good brother, Dallas.
And so without, you know, getting into, you know, why other people may take a knee or why they don't, God made it personally clear for me, like, the reason I take a knee is because I serve him first and nobody else. And by serving God first, my outward expression to you guys as a community is to get out on a knee, so that way you guys know I will humbly walk before you guys and lay down my life or serve you to the best of my ability, because it's my act towards God.
Thank you for that. We'll be right back.
You gonna say something else?
Yeah, I talk like 2 more times.
Don't believe that nigga.
I'll be back, y'all.